But some people are saying no, they wear armbands. Like a sash.
Yes.
They wear. But
Sometimes
all of the fan art is their color. I was really confused by that, but there's like a lot of people talking about it. IGN tore it to shreds, by the way. The comment section in IGN tore it to shreds.
Really? We are live, by the way.
Yep, they didn't like it.
Okay, well, that is you know what? Screw IGN.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. I think some of the people over there are good, but there is a little bit of pushback, and I think I will say we'll get into it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an issue with it, but I'll just bring up what I found as criticism today.
Yeah. Okay.
Once we super get going here, but
yeah, once we get going, just pull up the doc for us. That way we get some.
Yeah, right now it says Ezra Kirk's Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I'm changing all of it right now, dude. That's what I'm saying.
We have 704 subscribers, man. We gained some subs. We got to get the Manscaped ad in there.
That's what I'm saying. Pull it all up. We are live. We gotta get going. Let's do this will be our big
let me just Fires of Heaven Part 6 here. Let me get this pulled up here.
Friends, if you're tuning in, we are just getting a little live stream set up here, trying to hang out. Trying to do some heroes hangout. And I am just trying. This is how we do it, by the way. We on the fly just
today's gonna be on the fly because hey, you know what? That's the trailer.
Well, the dragon's riding again, buddy.
The dragon was again. So here, let's just get the official start in here. Are you ready?
Hold on. You always are trying to jump the gun on me. Let me just paste the description in here. Let me click save. Okay.
Well, we're gonna be talking about the trailer once as gets it set up.
There we go. There it is. All right. I think that is saved. Now, I mean, there we go. Let me go back to my channel. Let's see. Oh, wait, stay on page. Okay.
There's nobody in here.
That's what I'm saying, dude. We don't have to rush it. Let's get a good live stream here. This will be up for folks to check out later. Boom. Okay, good. The description's updated. It doesn't have the clip art. That's okay. It'll update later. Boom, baby. Okay. So we are rolling. You can hear me fine, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do this. You got all of our doc pulled up and everything?
Yes, I do. Welcome to Heroes of the Horn, a Wheel of Time podcast. I am Sir Matt.
And I am Sir Ezra. Welcome to our Wheel of Time. What happened?
I forgot to record. Audacity. Gosh dang it.
So did I.
Remember, guys.
Oh my God. That's the amateur hour.
This is amateur hour. I'm hitting record in Audacity.
Wait. I don't even have my SD card in.
Oh my God. The dark friends are among us here as we try to do things on the fly. The dark friends are among us here.
Yeah. All right. Let me get that memory card in there. Let me get that in here. Yeah, and this is also like I just woke up too, so this is crazy. This is crazy.
And I'm burning both ends here. So all right, let's do it. You ready?
I am ready. Yeah.
All right, I'm hitting record.
Okay.
Welcome to Heroes of the Horn, a Wheel of Time podcast. I am Sir Matt.
And I am Sir Ezra. Welcome to our Wheel of Time book club. The horn has sounded, and we have answered the call. And by the way, by call, I mean the trailer, my friend. It has dropped. This is a big trailer discussion. Everyone's talking about it. I just saw the Dusty Will clicked off. You had all the YouTubers were live today talking about it. Twitter was lit up with it. It's here. It's awesome, and we are here to talk about it.
Yes, we are. Let's do so. Okay, so here we go. Let me provide a little backstory here. Yeah. So Sir Jimmy, who's been a good friend on the show, runs a great channel called the Fantasy Network where he reviews fantasy novels, all that stuff. he and I are in sort of a group chat with Ez, and Ez doesn't really participate in that group chat very much, but Jimmy and I do, and we have been incredibly critical of the way in which the showrunners have been promoting the show, leading up to where we're at to today. The show is coming out in November. We know that, but we didn't know when. Now we found out today. And in fact, we were worried a little bit, as we've had a lot of worries with the show. One, COVID potentially may have shut it down. So there was that. We have been nervous about when this show would come out, because the Wheel of Time, while big in sort of the fantasy realm, it is not necessarily a big name outside of fantasy books. It doesn't carry the same weight as, say, Lord of the Rings does, or I would even say things like the Chronicles of Narnia, or a Harry Potter, obviously, a Game of Thrones more recently. But just in sort of that, the mainstream sort of audience isn't as familiar with Wheel of Time. Sure. And so we were nervous about when the show would air, because as it kept getting delayed with COVID and no news of when it was coming out, we knew it was running the potential of running into The Witcher, which it actually will overlap with The Witcher a little bit. You've got like some other big streaming shows like Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and stuff like that. It's coming early next year. Netflix just launched Shadow and Bone, and that has been sort of a hit. And then, of course, the big daddy, the granddaddy of them all, the House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel, which is, I think, coming next April. And then we know sometime next year is the Lord of the Rings show. And so we were nervous that this show could get buried and wouldn't have the immediate success that could essentially hamper it going forward. So that was one of our big worries. And then those worries were sort of compounded by just the general lack of information on the show, right? Then we started to get teasers, and the teasers themselves, and I am still critical, actually. Now that I've even seen the full scene, I think I'm even more critical of the choice of the original Moiraine teaser with just like her eyes opening. And I said, when I saw that, when we see the context, it will make more sense. But you could still go find 6 seconds of a great movie, and just show that, and it could make that movie look bad. And I still am actually, I think, even more critical of that today. So we were getting those, and then we were getting sort of these like pictures and stuff like that, but there was never any news of a teaser. And Comic-Con went by, and some of these other places that could have been a great place to show the trailer went by. And then we kind of found out that the show is airing in November, and we were like, are we going to see this trailer? When is it going to happen? You think you need to start promoting this? Well, I would say that 99% of my worries for this show, and not that it would be bad, but just sort of its potential to be successful, because I want it to have the best chance to be successful. I think 99% of those were, they were gone after seeing the trailer we saw today.
Yeah,
which is good, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, no, that's good. That is good. And I feel good saying that, like, I've seen I've been in the chat. I've seen you guys talking. I've seen some of our other bannermen over on Bend the Knee and in different places talking about it as well. And it is good. I've been watching Twitter, people critical, some people super happy about it. The trailer has everyone. I think it's probably 90 to 95% of people, Wheel of Time fans, people coming into it are going, this is awesome. Like this looks epic. And it felt like the world. I mean, Tar Valon in this trailer, it just looked so good. Everything looks so good. The costuming, all of that. And you're right. You can find 6 seconds somewhere that looks a little weird when you zoom in on it. And there's weird mist and channeling power going on, and you don't really know what's happening. So yeah, that without context, that can be different. I'd rather just have had a still. I think is what you guys were arguing back in the day, like a still image.
Back on the initial. Yeah. So the initial Moiraine teaser, for anybody who's sort of coming into this new, which I'm sure there are a lot of people after just seeing this full trailer, is in this trailer, it's the scene where she uses lightning, right? The lightning, she uses the power, lightning comes down and probably wrecks all of the Trollocs around her.
Yeah.
But it was this awesome. It was just the shot of her opening her eyes, and it's super zoomed in on her face, and there's like a harsh white light on it. And so it's like, this doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me anything. I thought it was a bad choice. Then we got one a little bit later, which was sort of land, but it was zoomed out enough to see just a bit of his costuming, and we thought that was way cooler of sort of an of a intro, because we were able to see more. Then there was the leaked photos, right? And it was like Blouse's where everyone's like, wait, what's the costuming? Is she just wearing, like, looks like she went to TJ Maxx? You know, there was a lot of that. And so then it made the initial trailer seem that much more sort of like, wait, what is going on here? Because it seemed they didn't want that sort of leaked image to come out, and then they just sort of revealed the whole thing. So, you know, again, what I had said was, if we see more context, it'll make more sense, which is what we got. And so I think it's way cooler, obviously. So we got the trailer today. There is sort of an interesting person who wasn't in the trailer, and I think we should just go ahead and get this dialed in here right now, because our friend Loyal, he wasn't in this, my friend.
He wasn't in it. He was not in it, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about people who are in the trailer, who was not in the trailer, but flat out he was not there, and it's suspect, because I mean, how are we supposed to transition into our Manscaped ad without it?
When Loyal's not there, my friend, because he is certainly one of these characters who could benefit from it. I mean, attention to our listeners. Okay, whether you're here on YouTube or across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston, do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tool for the job. For the leaders in male grooming, join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with code FANSIDED20. And as I will say it, Loyal, maybe he manscaped so much that he's not even here. We couldn't even tell.
Well, he might have been in the trailer, and he's so cleaned up, we don't even know. He's the guy holding the ring, right? He's the supposed warder holding the ring. He looks clean. Oh,
he's so trimmed up, man. That's what happens when you use that Lawnmower 4.0, right? It's got the 400,000 LED spotlight. You can turn it off and off when you need it. Get those precise, trimmings. Okay, well, so
also real quick, just don't forget, Manscaped throws in 2 free gifts with their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed traveling bag. And the Shed made me think of Rand's farm. There's got to be a shed back out there somewhere. You think he's got a traveling bag?
You're going to need a traveling bag to put, the dagger and some of these other things, that they're picking up here. So, hey, guys, make sure to get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com for a clean trinity and beyond. Your space balls will thank you. As with that, now let's dive back in to the trailer here, my friend. Yeah. So here's the thing. First of all, this was another thing that I thought was botched, because they said, hey, it's going to be on at 8:30. So I'm on Twitter at 8:30 waiting for it to get dropped, because that's where they said it would be.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm texting, I'm in our group chat with Jimmy, and I'm like, dude, it's 8:33 and that trailer's not out. Well, they released it on the Prime YouTube, but they made it seem like it was going to be on the Twitter. No, they didn't tweet it until like 8:40, 8:50. What a joke.
Okay. Oh my God. Matt's arguing about 4 to 5 minutes here.
So anywho, once I went to the Twitter, okay, I saw it was live. I was like 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The YouTube version's 2 minutes and 20 seconds because there's like a 20-second little Prime video thing there at the end. Mostly because, the way YouTube works, right, where it shows all the end cards and stuff.
Right.
But it's a 2-minute trailer. And I mean, we're going to sort of just go through it here. I actually watched an IGN did a really good breakdown of it. Although be careful. My God, they said it's like non-spoiler. They're like, yeah, this probably won't really spoil anything, as they flat out spoiled something like the end of the series for me.
What?
Like totally spoiled something that's like end of the series.
Okay, well, don't say it here, because we have people, or say spoiler, because we're a non-spoiler kind of podcast.
We're non-spoiler here.
Up
But
through
my
book
God,
5.
yeah. So avoid sort of the IGN one if you don't want like a big, huge moment spoiled for you. But okay, so our trailer begins and we have Nynaeve and Egwene, and Nynaeve says, this is where she pushes Egwene into the river there. Do you think that what's her name actually did that? I mean, it kind of looks like it wasn't a stunt double. That looks like she's doing the stunt.
That'd be kind of cool. Maybe it's not that high, and they made it look higher or something. That is kind of cool if she did push her off, and that the actual actresses did that. I don't know, but I think my bigger question was like, what are they doing that for? Why did she? Was she just afraid? Were they on the move there, like on the run, and she jumped in, or was this something around the Two Rivers or Emond's Field? They're just having fun.
I think a lot of this is episode
wisdom
1.
training.
Yeah.
So wisdom training.
Yeah. Wisdom training. Yeah. So then we sort of get a zoomed out shot here and we see Emond's Field, which we had seen pictures of. That was like the first thing we ever saw was Emond's Field sort of pictures. But it's cool to get you get the light cascading, you get people. We're getting set up for Beltane. Then we zoom in and we're in the Quillen tanker, right? Right.
Or Wine Spring.
The Wine Spring, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yes.
And everybody's kind of there. We have Matt, Perrin, and Rand all kind of sitting down. It's very, Lord of the Rings-esque, right? Yeah, Pippin, Sam, and everybody. And it's kind of cool. You're right. They're all just sitting there hanging out, which is great because that's early in the chapters where there's, thing. Egwene walks in, Nynaeve is kind of standing there, and then we get a big smile from Rand.
Yeah, like is he happy to see her, or is he just had a bit too much whiskey, or what's going on?
And things start getting dark from there, my friend.
Yes, they do.
We get a zoomed out shot, and Moiraine is sort of talking over all of this. We get sort of zoomed out shot. We see some people riding. Then we see a man crying, kissing what looks like a ring. Now, a lot of people were saying maybe Luce Theron. Like it's not entirely clear. The IGN breakdown said if you look really closely, it looks like he's kissing. They were saying it's Lan's father.
What?
That's what they're saying in the IGN breakdown.
Really?
Yeah, like the golden crane, and because that's
I don't know, because if you go look, so there's a shot.
They could be totally wrong. Yeah, they could be totally wrong, but that's what they say.
That's really cool. I mean, that would be cool to see something like that. And when you think about what you might see in season 1, if we saw some of Lan's backstory, I'm down. That would be awesome. But I think there's a shot where Moiraine is being healed, and the Aes Sedai healing her. You can see that serpent ring, because one of the things people were talking about is the lollipop ring. The Aes Sedai serpent lollipop ring. It's huge. Thing's massive. So
then we get this shot. Then we get the shot of Egwene, and she's floating up in this river, and she's covered in several different colors.
Which is, by the way, the cast is amazing for this. They're just, I'm stoked about that. But yeah, she looks awesome. That's got to be, is that later, or did they do something like this? Because is this a coming of age thing, or was this like her coming up and being accepted, not accepted?
Maybe
but like a novice?
They could be moving some stuff around here to where, because remember, Nynaeve is the wisdom, and maybe she's sort of training Egwene, because all of this seems like way before they leave Emond's Field. Yeah. But anyway, well, I don't know. It's hard.
Cool. It's a cool shot. It's a cool shot. I think
this is what IGN spoiled for me, by the way. I won't go any further than that. Ezra's face is like, oh my god.
Oh, no.
They flat out tell you what happens right here. So don't go like at the end.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. So then we get a shot of I think what is Shatter Logoth here. It's sort of this dark city. It's looking pretty cool. Then we get another pan out shot of, wow, man, the white tower looking cool, and you can see the mountain.
It looks so good.
You can see the mountain.
Did you not think? Did you not think that looked good though? Like Tar-Valon, the city, and I think our clip art for this video has a still of that. It is, I thought, fantastic. I mean, reminded me of like when you see Gondor in Lord of the Rings and you see the White City. I mean, it looks like that, and you're like, wow, okay, it's awesome.
Okay, so then I think at this point, I'm not listening to it right now, but I just sort of remembered Then it shifts and we get a shot of Moiraine walking through a door. Her outfit, I think, looks great, although the shoulder pads are a little bit high. I mean, I felt like they're a little bit high. Jimmy and I were joking, and I was like,
It's like
I don't
armor.
know. I don't know if she's looking for the Dragon Reborn or trying to hit that blindside block. Okay, I mean, I just don't know. I just messed.
Oh my god.
I'm just messing. So anyway, so she's walking through, and I think at this point on the trailer is when the voice actually shifts from Moiraine to Tam Althor. I forget the actor's name, but it's Roose Bolton, right, from Game of Thrones, and I'm so excited to see him in a good role because he always plays sort of villains. He's in Justice League. He's at the beginning of Justice League too. He's the guy that Wonder Woman takes out. He's like going to blow up the library or whatever. But so I'm excited to see him as sort of like a cool sort of character. So Moiraine walks in, she sort of takes off her thing. We get an overhead shot of the river, still just kind of showing them flowing through. Egwene is now sort of like, seems like she's really more like just floating down the river, which is cool. Then we get a great shot, my friend, inside the White Tower. You can see all the different Aja. Right, as they're all standing,
they're gathered there
right before the Amaryllis seat. You can see reds, blues, whites, browns, yellows, greens, and then I think there's some that are wearing white. And is it gray or are these black Aja?
Calm down. Matt's literally seeing black Aja. He's seeing Dark Prince everywhere. He's seeing black Aja in the Hall of Servants right now. That's it. So you've got grays and whites. Yeah. So
right. Okay. So anyway, so that's definitely kind of cool. Then we see Swan. Then we see Moiraine being healed. She's got a big wound.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not in the books, is it?
That is no.
That's not in book 1 or 2.
No, it could be prior to
New Spring.
Yeah. So maybe
whatever they're drawing from New Spring.
Yeah. Or maybe they've added an element of just her being injured. Yeah.
So then we see the Trolloc attack, just like there's like all this power flowing in to Emond's Field there, presumably Beltane, and it's sort of on fire, which is super, super cool. Then we see the red Aja. I think that's Liandrin, my friend.
Yeah. Let me look up the actress. There's a couple red sisters there, but I don't remember the actress. I'm not sure if that was her or not. Let me see here. But definitely those are her sisters for sure.
Because there's 4. Yeah, there's 4. Then we get a shot of some woman with like a staff and she sort of slams it down. It's incredibly quick. It's incredibly quick. And I think this might actually be where it starts to shift.
Fleetwood. Okay.
Yeah. So then we see, and it's not entirely clear who what's going on here, but we see a group of people. We see a guy with an axe. It looks like maybe 2 green Aja. I think they're trying to capture Logain here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, from what I could tell, when you go forward a little bit here, you'll see some graves as well. You'll see they show you a shot of what looks like Aes Sedai, more of them gathering maybe, and then more of them dead in graves. I could be wrong about that, but I think Logain. I think the battle with him is going to be huge and maybe a big part of this. He's gonna kill some Aes Sedai.
Yeah. Oh, somebody. Okay. So Stephanie Milligan says that's the keeper. I think referring to that woman with the staff. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Leanne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see here. Okay. So then she's stopping the arrows that are flying in. Then it says, this November, we're back to another sort of aerial shot here. We get a big sort of sweeping vista, the sort of rocky plain. Looks like there's 2 people. It's kind of hard to tell who it is. It looks sort of dark brown or red, and then I think that might be Matt. So that might be Rand and Matt when they get separated.
Okay, yeah, that could be.
And then we get a shot of Rand with a bow, and he's wearing
which is sick.
Which is sick. We get Matt with the dagger, which is cool, and then this sort of shadow rising.
Yeah, right.
Get it? You get it?
Yeah.
This sort of shadow rising, as I believe, and then like they're all sort of fleeing. Then we see Matt is seeing a guy inside of a cage, just sort of a cool shot. Then we get a wolf with yellow eyes.
Yeah, man.
That's coming up to Perrin. Then we have Rand and Egwene, and they're not wearing a lot of clothes. Well,
No, I think they're borderline naked, just to be honest.
well, Rand's
Which is
wearing pants, and Egwene, it seems like she is just kind of wrapped in a blanket or something here. So,
something's either finishing or something's about to start up. I'm not sure what's going on, but
I
I'm all
think
for it.
I now that I'm viewing this, I think, especially since we haven't had any casting, we have the Min casting, but we don't have any other casting. I think they're going to push the Egwene Rand romance, especially if the focus of the show is sort of Moiraine, if she's sort of like the lead. I think I think now that I've seen this, I think we had brought this up before that they might push the Egwene Rand romance a little bit further. Just to sort of, because you need to get casting and get people in and, you know, set like all that stuff. So then you can you can carry that storyline down. It looks like Perrin and Matt in, I think, Shatter Logoth, maybe just sort of sitting there. They look kind of tired, beat up. We get Tam Althor, aka Roose Bolton, right? And he's saying like the wheel of time turns. Then we get this is a really cool sequence of shots. So it's about 1:13 in. And it's an overhead sort of bird's eye view shot of Beltane, and then it immediately cuts to graves, like people buried in a circle, and then immediately cuts to like zooming up the White Tower. That's one of the coolest set of shots in the whole thing, just because sort of I think it also works really, really well for a trailer to just sort of have that like flashing imagery, like what is going
life
on
and death, right? So there's death happening, ceremonies.
Then 1:16 and things get dark, my friend. We're seeing murderals and fades.
Dude, that fade is sick.
Land saying like the dark one's coming. Then we get them running away at Beltane, which is great. And you know what, remember the very, very, very first leaked image we saw, where it was like Rand and Matt. This is like over it. This is like yes. Like early 2020 or something like that. And it was Rand and Matt, and they're sort of in this sort of misty whatever. I think that's like the morning after.
Got it. Okay. And she's maybe showing up, and Matt's been in the town, and Rand was back at the farm, coming back with his dad. Yeah.
Right. So then we're getting a group of people with sort of swords running after, and Lan is fighting. And then we get the shot of Logain using the power, sort of break out of his cage.
What? I think I missed that. Wait, what timestamp me on that? Where's that at?
About a minute. It's like 1:20.
1:20, huh? Okay.
That's total. It's Logain using the power, and he's like, because he's in the same cage. Remember we saw in those pictures where he's like being.
Yeah. He's in the same cage. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same cage that was in those photos.
Because I was going to do a click through later of this as well. So make it to 1:20, you said?
Yeah.
All right, let me get in here. 1:20. Let's see. Yeah, people running. Oh my God, dude.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. Sorry, guys, you're getting like a real live reaction here. I did not, because, dude, okay, I'm still in Germany.
That changes everything.
That changes everything. What is going on? What is, did that happen right afterwards, and they brought in more? Like, did they immediately capture him, and they only had two, two Aes Sedai left to kind of hold him, and they couldn't hold him, and they had to get more?
If you look at, if you go 1 second later and you see he's pushing down, I think Leandrin right there, because that was who we saw before, and then a green Aja. It's kind of hard to tell if it's that same woman. They're in some sort of cave, and he just blows them out, and then we sort of shift, and we're into a different thing, and we're back to sort of being attacked here. And this is that where I think where Lan was fighting these sort of groups of people. It's kind of hard to tell exactly who it is.
Yeah,
Nynaeve is there. Nynaeve's there. She's wearing a green outfit. Then we go to about 1:24, and we're in the tower, and now Moraine's walking in all of her glory, looking great.
Oh man, yeah.
Outfit. She's then we cut to Suan talking to her, saying the final battle is coming. 1:26, you get this sort of cool shot of the the Trollocs, right? And it's like orange and you can't really see them exactly.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of cool and mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
We get Moiraine riding. We get a cool shot of land sort of turning up, and this is where there's this big overhead, like the Wheel of Time, and all of that is being said.
Epic scenery.
Now, who are these people that they're fighting against here? They're sort of all wearing mismatching clothes. So it's obviously not like the White Cloaks, which I don't think we saw.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be Logain's followers, I believe.
Gotcha.
From Gillidan. I think we're gonna have, because he had taken over Gillidan, and there was an uprising. Yeah.
Right. So I think Logain's going to be a much bigger focus in.
Yeah, because
season 1.
And I always love that the rumor of war, is just all about the Two Rivers. Yeah.
So that should tell us a lot going forward. That should tell us a lot going forward in the series is, we've always talked about what are we going to keep? What are we going to cut out? This was actually one of the things I really loved about Game of Thrones, for example, and I'll shift back to especially early season 1. There are several scenes that are added in. And remember, George R. R. Martin helped write that. Obviously, Robert Jordan can't help write this. But there were several scenes in the season 1 of Game of Thrones where they could rely heavily on the books. And I think that season relied the heaviest on the books. Like dialogue is almost word for word, especially in that season. But there were a handful of scenes that were added, like Ned Stark's conversation with Jaime Lannister in the throne room. For sure. And then like Robert's conversation with Cersei was added, where he talks about like, is there ever any chance for us? No. Robert with Jaime, where they're talking about like his first kill and stuff like that. So those were some sort of extra scenes which they added in that weren't in the books, but I do believe they provided like valuable context and stuff. And again, George R. R. Martin was much heavier influencing that first season in the first 4 seasons. So it's easier when you have the author here. So there could be some pushback here. And I will say I'm obviously, for anybody new here, our whole podcast and everything is I'm reading the series for the first time. We're just about to finish the 5th book, Lords of the Fires of Heaven.
Yeah.
And so that's as far as I am. I haven't done New Spring yet. I think we're gonna save that and do that actually at the end. And so some people say you should start with it. I don't know. So if it is something that you do see more in New Spring, at least I'm not as familiar.
It won't. I've never thought that the New Spring would spoil anything for you at all in the series or whatever. So if it comes up in the show, no big deal or whatever. But can I take you to a spot though? 131 on this trailer. And so again, if you're listening to this on the podcast, and you might want to pull this up later at work or something, and just take a look at some of these timestamps. 131. Who is that Logain that they've got wrapped up there, and someone's running and jumping at him, trying to free him?
I think so.
Same
or
cave,
attack him.
Or attack him.
No, I think he's trying to attack him. Yeah.
Is that a warder, or I don't know. I don't know. Because somebody real dark is behind. That doesn't look like an Aes Sedai, does it? Somebody's laying dead on the floor there.
Yeah, here we go. So Silver Bells Narshima says it's going to be Logain's people, and it seems his role will be much bigger, which I like.
Okay.
Yeah, he says so. He's saying I see many things from New Springs in this trailer. So yeah, I haven't read it yet. And I think New Spring. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe New Spring came out before. I think Robert Jordan wrote that, right? Yeah. So it came out obviously before he died, which would then be the last 3 books.
Yeah. So actually, I think when he wrote it was somewhere like there in the middle, and it doesn't. Again, all of the plot points are prior to the start of Eye of the World. So you're good, but it just people who show up later in the series. They're in that book that are important.
Right. So I guess I'm wondering if this Logain, I guess my wonder is if some of this Logain stuff, because when we first meet him in Eye of the World, he's captured. So I guess my sort of wonder, maybe you guys can, maybe anybody in the chat here can read it or can answer if this sort of attack where they capture Logain is in New Spring, and maybe that's what they're pulling from. But here we go. Stephanie Milligan says he's wrapped in a shield of air. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me, is that he's sort of protecting himself. And Gerald says, I never went back and read New Spring. I've read through the series 3 times. So yeah. So okay. So we'll keep moving on here. so 131 we get Lan, and he's like sort of fighting the Trollocs. You can do, if you freeze frame it at 132, you can get sort of a closer look on the Trollocs here, and they look pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about them just yet. Again, it's one of these things where you're freeze framing it and it's so specific. Like when I freeze frame it at 132, they look kind of bad, but then it's, there's like lighting, all this stuff going on. It's hard to say that they look bad when I have,
for sure,
potentially a bad angle. So then we start to move forward, and this is where we get to sort of the Waygate, which takes us all the way about halfway through the rest of the trailer. Them sort of riding up. 137, we get the Murdral.
I mean, Matt, I have been waiting for years to see a Fade walk into Emmons Field, and that's some scary stuff, man. When you start Eye of the World, the teeth, all the stuff, like the stillness of the figure in black, and Rand saw it, and the other boys have seen it, and they need to say something about it. Moraine's there. I mean, dangerous. It just seems, I don't know, the way they set that up. I hope we really see someone following Rand and some spookiness kind of going on, or like he looks back, he's not sure he saw that figure cloaked in black, and then you see Lan show up with his cloak, and so cool.
Here we go. Yeah, Two Rivers Badger says it was mentioned when Fane arrived in Emmons Field. Silverbedge Nashima, it seems like they are combining New Spring, Loghain's story, and new content not from the books into the series. It says because it has Nynaeve and Lan with the group, exactly, fighting Loghain's people, and that never happened. Exactly, that doesn't happen. The Fade, Stephanie Milligan, the Fade is everything we could have asked for. The Fade to me was by far the coolest looking. I looked cooler than the Trollocs. From the freeze frames, that I saw. Yeah. So scary. Keep going on here. Yeah, you get some more Trollocs running in. I'll tell you what. Then about 140. A lot of people were sort of critical, but we were actually on the defense of Lan, because he's not like, just a lot of the art, like the early art, makes him seem like he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Like he's just this like massive guy. But I actually like it. It makes him he feels more of sort of like, obviously samurai, because he's got the sword, and especially the headband going back and everything. Right. To me, Lan is the best. Not like, I mean, they're all, I think they're all actually pretty well cast, but I think his costume immediately to me like sort of jumps out as he like that's Lan for me. Like that works. It fits. I mean, Moiraine is great too, and then he's good. Yeah. And then you jump, and then we see Moiraine. She throws some power to Lan, and Lan wrecks a Trolloc, which is pretty cool. And then here we go. We get the shot that we saw in the early thing where see her eyes, and then the lightning comes down, and then it just cuts to the logo, which is cool too. The logo should not be understated as well. Now that I've seen it, a little more in action with the rest of it around.
It's this, for her weaving the power is pretty epic. I mean, in the way it pulls from the sky. So at 145 you got the shot, and you've got, let me move past this a little bit here. I think it's 140. It was earlier, I think, but they showed earlier like her pulling it from the sky, and you could just see it all kind of coming and channeling into her, like the streams and the flows, and it was sick. I think the channeling, what do you think about that? Like the one power, the use of it. I mean, it looks good, right? I think it looks good. It's sort of hard to tell in a trailer. And the other thing we need to remember is that it is also season 1. The budget, some of the budgets are a little bit lower than they are. I mean, it looks okay. There has been some pushback. We got one guy in the comment here, Jonathan R, says, I thought the channeling looked a little too generic and a bit cheesy, but all in all, a good trailer. And that's something common that I've seen. Some people push back on. To me, it didn't look, like, because we were kind of nervous, right, a little bit about the about it, like exactly how good is invisible flows. Right, we're like, are we talking like a Game of Thrones budget here, or are we talking like a CW show budget? You know what I mean? Because it's
The Flash, like seasons, like, you know, from what I've seen, like seasons 4 through 6 were like some pretty awesome CGI. But all I see now is everyone saying that the CGI budget went to the tank, man. Like something happened, and it's like out, and it's like out the window. So I mean, to me, I don't know. I watched it, I thought it looked cool. I guess I didn't. I just thought it looked cool. I didn't really sort of.
It's not
think,
over the
like,
top.
Oh, it looks bad. Or,
that's a good thing, though. I mean, that it's not so much in your face that everyone's talking about it, or that it's not like there's enough, right? There's enough there to say this is her channeling air, or she's channeling. It could be some of the different elements, but what we saw looked like it wasn't taking away from everything else that was going on. And so I think that's great. And Rosamund Pike, by the way, when you stop in on some of the shots in her face, she is locked in. I mean, this is a huge role for her. This is awesome. I am so pumped that she's the lead on this. And
for me, I would say the coolest thing is, you know, it's one thing when you see like a character in costume, right? And again, I'll reference, I think, you know, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, because I think they're sort of two mediums to go to that I think work really well, because a lot of movies and TV adaptations of anything, or a lot of movie and TV adaptations of anything where you sort of go medieval, right? Even if it's a sort of a created thing. Now, Wheel of Time is slightly less sort of medieval, I would say. It's obviously got like some Victorian influences and stuff like that. But like Game of Thrones, you have knights and dragons and all of that stuff. But a lot of the armor is very specific, and it looks like it exists inside of its own world, right? It sort of all blends together. It doesn't actually seem weird seeing like Khal Drogo and then cutting to a scene with, you know, like Loras Tyrell, and the armors are totally different, but it still feel like it exists inside of its own world, and it's not just trying to make it look, say, medieval for the sake of making it look medieval, because that's how it should look. That's even when we saw the first costuming, you know, it's hard to tell because, well, it just seems like they're just kind of wearing generic, you know, tunics and garb and whatever. And we said we're going to have to see it in action to see how the costuming all fits and works and looks like it makes sense. And it totally does. It totally does. Because a lot of what they're wearing is actually pretty just sort of like basic stuff. It's nothing, it's not, other than the Aes Sedai, it's nothing really super elaborate. And again, it shouldn't be right now because they're sort of farmers and, you know, they're all from this small town. But even seeing it move in motion and everything, it like the world came alive is what I guess I'm trying to get at. And the costuming didn't feel out of place. It felt like it existed.
Yeah, which is great. So if you, when you get a chance, you can kind of scrub back through that trailer. You'll see in the White Tower when the even the Aes Sedai, when you look at them, they're not all just wearing the exact same robe of the same style. They're wearing the same color, and maybe the texture might be close, but there's headdresses, there's different things, there's extra bits and pieces to everyone's kind of costume. So each individual Aes Sedai kind of like their culture might come through in their in what they're wearing, but still it's the color of the Aja that they're associated with. So I thought that was cool because if you stop and look, you can see somebody with a headdress back there and see different types of versions of red sisters and then blues and so on, which I thought was cool.
Some people have been complaining. That is another complaint I've seen is people are complaining that the Aja are wearing the color, like they're all just wearing their
no, I think it's awesome.
Colors. I do too. To me, it just, I guess I've always just sort of thought that they do. I guess maybe I'm not reading the books correctly or paying as much attention, but that's what I thought they did.
Yeah, if you want to go into a city, like let's say you're going in somewhere like I'm a DC or whatever, and you want to be undercover, and you're not going to wear like your normal Aes Sedai garb. You're going to go incognito type of thing. Like I think even Moiraine when she's traveling as Lady Alice, like there's hints of blue, but yet really she's traveling, undercover. Sort of. So I'm not worried about that at all. I actually think it's awesome that they're wearing that. And I love that we get to see them at the White Tower and then we get to see them move out. I love when costumes change a bit too, right? So when you have a wardrobe change and you see Moiraine wearing different dresses, and I'm hoping that the girls and the guys, like Rand his costuming needs to evolve and in a big way. I think it's really cool when that happens. I do want to go ahead.
Talk about who this guy is at 17 seconds kissing the ring.
Yes. So yeah.
IGN. Okay, so I watched the IGN breakdown, which again, don't watch.
Anybody in the comments know who that is? Yeah.
If you don't want anything spoiled, they're saying it's Land's dad. What's it? Alkir? Is that who? Is that right?
Yeah. 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 So, but my thing is, he's wearing this ring. It looks like that's the serpent ring. It looks like somebody was saying this is a warder who has lost his Aes Sedai during the battle with Logain, and was kind of.
Stephanie Milligan here. I don't understand that they wear them in the books. Yeah, I don't know. It was on Twitter today. I was reading like there was a big debate going on about like the costuming, and people were saying they should. I was like, I don't know. I don't.
It helps your mainstream audience too to see who's who, like which.
Yeah. We'll dive into Alkir here if it is in a second. So I guess the criticisms I saw today on the internet, the biggest one, I guess, oddly enough, again, was they are wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So people, Gerald, I have no idea who that is. So the criticisms I saw today were so the channeling, some people saying like, it could have looked more high budget, I suppose. And then the costuming a little bit. Some people were blasting the Aja for like the colors that they wear, but again, I just think they don't know what the heck they're talking about. The third one was sort of, not that I want to really super get into all this, but some people were saying, I think the line that Moiraine says about like, and women have the power to protect everyone, and people were going off just saying, oh, well, they do. I know they don't. No. But do you think that because I don't have a problem with that, and once people understand the series and that it is about two separate sides of the power, but I think a lot of people who've never seen this are sort of getting SJW-ish and saying, oh, here we go again, it's a pro, but I guess what ultimately what I want to get to is, because that's whatever, I think they're just sort of dumb. But do you think they should have mentioned something perhaps about a male side of the power, and specifically, I guess maybe like we're looking for the dragon? Because I don't know, do you go with this idea of, hey, the final battle's coming, or should you have left a line that was maybe you need to find him, and then it's like, wait, who are they looking for? I feel like that could have like made it that much more sort of mysterious for because we're all in the eyes of people who sort of know what's going on, but for people who don't know what's going on, right, I guess it'd be like, what if you have no idea what's going on? It'd be like, why are they finding these farm kids? What's the point? What's the purpose there? It seems like they just.
So in the trailer, do you drop one line that says, we're seeking the Dragon Reborn or whatever,
or something to make it seem like all these kids are of importance.
The other thing, I guarantee they're going to have to do it, because you have to sell the idea that channeling is like, male channelers are bad and that they go mad and that they'll go crazy. Like, that's got to be sold hardcore, and it's gonna be sold through Logain, which is, we're not going to want to see. If you've never read the series and you have no idea what's going on, you go into this and you look at our main cast, our Emmons Fielders. We love them. We're going to love them. We're going to see them going on this journey with an Aes Sedai who maybe you shouldn't trust. We're not really sure. Tom Maryland, is he going to slip in there?
We didn't see it.
We didn't
see Tom.
Yeah. So is he going to pop in there and give them some guidance? But then at some point, when it's hinted at that one of them could channel, that's like, oh, hold on a second. Like, we don't want one of our nice, Matt Perrin or Rand to become Logain. No, we can't have that. Like, a mainstream audience needs to be feeling that type of feel. So they got to sell that early on, which is, I think, why they're doing so much of this Logain stuff. Which is good. Really good.
Yeah, because I guess that's how that's sort of how I think maybe season 1 will end, is going to be, I think we find out Rand can channel. So maybe maybe at the end of the season, because again, that's really kind of book 1 and 2, is Rand is coming into this. Remember because we're learning so much about his parentage, his parentage, and there's a lot of mysterious stuff going on there. Why doesn't Rand look? That's like something that constantly comes up, is why does Rand sort of look, Aiel? They don't really use the. He looks, like a Westlander, right? Or an Aiel, right? Yeah, from the waist, yeah. So I guess that's at what point do we learn that Rand is something more? I think maybe the big focus of season 1 is going to be Logain, and then something will happen, and then I think maybe we get to say to like the Eye of the World, right? I think that's still sort of how we end season 1, and then maybe we're being attacked by the Forsaken, and Rand sort of uses the power, and it's sort of like, wait, what was that?
Yeah, that could be. And they have to at some point have Matt and Rand in a desperate situation. You have to hint somewhere along the line that Rand has this power. You know what I mean? You remember that when he's with the skinny innkeeper and he's getting the lightning strike and he gets sick afterwards, and they almost need to think, the two boys need to think, was that Moiraine? Is she nearby? Did she come to save us? And they think
that's why
Moiraine,
I don't
it was really him.
And I don't think they're going to be split up. We've talked about that we don't think they're gonna, although we did get that one shot, so maybe they are, or maybe that's later. And
then that could be just a moment of them running around in one episode, split for so some of the costumes here in the books, the Aes Sedai wear their color shawls over regular dresses. Exactly. So that's sort of what some people were making. It says minor spoilers. It's the tower splits. That's okay. We're sort of there in the books. Women wearing only their Aja colors is a sign the tower is breaking apart. Two Rivers badgers, the ring of wrapped corpses after the Two Rivers dance, are the dead from the battle with Logain and his followers. That sequence of shots there was epic. Silver Bells, Narshima says, you hit the nail on the head, Ezra. I think that's when you were talking about like the reveal of, or the Logain being a focus. The Stephanie Milligan, the dragon reveal is going to be a bit of a slow burn. Because again, and then here we go, Silver Bells, Narshima saying, I think that's why they will focus on the other characters for season, for that very reason. Because again, so we've seen Perrin with the wolf with yellow eyes, so we know that's going to be kind of hinted at. But in the books, that doesn't even it feels like it takes a lot longer to get sort of revealed. It's really like book 4 is when we really kind of get it, because we go deep into Perrin in the Shadow Rising. Because you remember, this is also for TV audiences who are viewing this in a totally different light than book readers, and you've kind of got to accomplish a lot in a much shorter time with like the Taviran and Matt's thing, although we're just sort of still learning that, and we're in book 5 is where it's being sort of revealed much more, and then you have Perrin's thing, and then they're Taviran and he's the Dragon Reborn, and Matt has his thing and Perrin has his thing, and stuff like that. So you've got to kind of walk a really sort of fine line of how do you reveal stuff at what point to keep the series going, but not taking too long to do it. That's a good point. There's a lot to kind of wrap in here, right? You got to talk about the prophecy of the dragon. You've got to talk about maybe Logain trying to be the dragon, right? He's a false dragon. He's called that. Then you've got Taviran being woven in there, and that's a Loyal situation, my friend. Let Loyal step in there, and Camelin or wherever, and bring that to light. But there's a lot, man. When you think about the first book and even the first couple books, it's a lot of characters to weave in and out. And if you're talking New Spring, I mean, this is just a big world to manage.
This also, for me, I think eliminates, now that we've seen just a little bit of it and seen some of the way, just pacing and everything, I think for me, I don't know that we're getting any Lews Therin stuff season 1. I think we got to hold off on that.
My only thing is, unless that guy, somebody said at one point, the guy holding the ring at 18 seconds
could be,
is that Lews Therin? Is he holding, like, because the serpent ring, right, of old, if that's he could be holding his own or someone else's, and that would be insane. If we saw Lews Therin,
I'm going to pull up the IGN breakdown and just listen.
That's fine.
So if you cover for a second here as well,
I got you.
I got to pull that up. So
I guess too, headphones. If you're in the comments right now too, just first of all, thanks for coming over and checking this out. Drop us a comment in here, just overall thoughts, just a quick kind of initial. Did you like it? Are you pumped? How are you feeling about the trailer in general? And I'll try to read some of those out, because I've been waiting for years for this. I've been wanting to see a Fade. I've been wanting to see the Dragon Reborn and Logain and all this. And I didn't know I needed this much Logain in season 1, but I definitely do, and I'm happy for it. So, just leave us a comment. Let us know what you think there, because this is freaking epic. And for folks who don't know, new folks kind of coming into the just coming into our podcast, Matt and I are kind of doing a read through. He's up into we're in Fires of the Heaven, part 6 or 7, I think, right now. We're right at the end. We've got the last 5 chapters, I believe, or 10, and major stuff, you guys know, happens there. So no spoilers for any of that kind of stuff in the comments. Just past book 5, which would be great. But man, it's just yeah. What do you got?
So they're saying, so IGN is saying, and they actually got ripped pretty hard in the comments for this. He says that he is holding the Golden Crane signet ring, but that's not what it looks like.
No, there's actually a ring later on where let me find it real quick in the trailer for you when Moiraine is being healed.
Right. And it looks the same.
It's the exact same ring. It is a serpent ring.
Right.
You can see the serpent's head there.
I think somebody said this in our comments. So here's the comments from the IGN thing, because it's the number one voted.
39
he's
seconds.
Holding an Aes Sedai. Right. He's holding an Aes Sedai ring, not Malkir. He's a warder. The actor is Peter Franzen, who is listed to be playing a warder to Kareen Nagashi.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Right.
Okay,
and so some people are saying, so perhaps she dies and he's mourning her with her ring.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That makes sort of way more sense. Yeah.
Which
so he's
cool.
not. So then he's sort of an original character for the show, right? Because that name doesn't sound familiar.
Well, or New Spring stuff, like, right? There's
oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think let me go look up real quick here, but I'm pretty sure. So you've not encountered
people are commenting saying, you guys really think IGN knows what they're talking about? Now, they did. The guy who's reading it, first of all, messes up the names like 10 times. And he says Elmansfield, Edmondsfield, Emonsfield. I mean, like back to back to back.
Worse than you. That's worse than that.
Worse than me, man. When I first started the series, I kept calling it Edmondsfield, and then people were like, "It's Emmonsfield." I was like, "Sorry, guys."
Yeah, I'll be honest. The pronunciations are tough. Like when you read them and you look at them, it takes time.
Yeah.
I listen to the audio.
So this guy says, "Don't Google Narmashira name spoilers." Okay, we won't do that. Loved it. For too many people want it to be page for page instead of an adaptation. I thought it was amazing. Yeah, you just can't. You're not gonna be able to adapt this page for page. It's too big. And now that I'm obviously further into the series, as you and I've talked on the podcast as well, about several things that you can eliminate. Like there's a lot of stuff that happens in even just we're about to finish the 5th book. We're on like the final chapters in the podcast, and which is my first read for any of you guys new here in the chat. Like, do the girls really have to get captured like 5 times in the show? No, I think you can do it once to sort of get the point across, and you can sort of go on. You can sort of go on from there. There's how many pages do we spend talking about Nynaeve's hair tugging? That is just something.
Hey, buddy.
No. I'm saying, you still do it, but it doesn't take like chapters and stuff to,
that's the cool thing about
how many paragraphs, right? How many paragraphs do you spend talking about things that on TV is 2 seconds of
right?
Because you don't have that sort of internal dialogue. When 2 characters kiss, you don't have looking at him this way, and then it happens, and all of the emotion and everything that's like 2 to 3 pages, and then you can sort of
well, so
go that way.
And actually that's a good point. Like Rafe and Sarah Nakamura, they've read the series, right? So they know how much of those gestures or those character traits that they need to throw in to sell the foreshadowing that they lead to, the event that they're going to lead to later, and stuff like that, which is good. That's why you got to have people, book fans who know where this is going. The series is complete. Use what's there, make it better, answer some questions. You've got Brandon Sanderson, you've still got Harriet, you've got other folks who you can do some things. You can take some of Robert Jordan's notes and put some surprises in for us. I think that'd be awesome. So
Stephanie Milligan says, "I'll come for you over braid tugging." No, you got to have it.
Yo, you
I'm
gotta
just
have
saying
it. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you got to have it, but what you don't have, is it's something that in the book is, a paragraph or so of the way she feels about it, and curse you, Randall Thor, whatever. And when it's just in the show, it's just 1 second of her of her doing it. So a lot of, you have to think about like, wow, it's so many pages of the book, but really it sort of gets condensed. Some things get expanded, like fight
Sure.
scenes can take more time because you build it up, but a lot of stuff can get sort of squeezed in terms of just the way books are compared to TV.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that makes a lot of sense. Our good buddy Ryan is in here, and he
Right.
was asking about book 3, I think, right? Do we see anything from
Yeah.
book 3?
Yeah. Well, I'll get to him in a second. Just Silver Bells and our Shima here agreeing with me. He says, especially when Robert Jordan describing wardrobe, which can be shown in 1 second. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. Yeah, you don't need any of that. So Ryan says, Rafe says that season 1 will include some scenes from book 3. Did we see anything in the trailer that could be book 3? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that I thought that could happen is when, maybe not when Rand is on his own. I don't know. Remember when Rand is sort of approaching the forest, and
Right.
you've got the dark friends there, and he kills them. Or if you have like a gray man assassin. We didn't see any of that kind of stuff. But I was trying,
Right.
when he first said that, I was trying to think, what's an element from book 3 that you could bring
Well,
in earlier?
even what we saw, a lot of trailers do this, where really your first trailer is kind of like the first 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Like they don't
you don't go
really even
beyond that.
take, they don't even take anything beyond that. You sometimes get like a mid-season one. And I think the release schedules, I think November 19th when it comes out, I think we're getting 3 episodes at once, and then it'll be weekly.
Which is
after
crazy.
that.
That's awesome.
Which is
Man, we
awesome.
are going to be busy.
Disney,
I'm
Disney,
not going
yeah,
to work
Disney
that
kind
day.
of does that. Disney kind of does that where they release, typically their schedule has been sort of where they release an episode on a Tuesday and then they release a second episode on Friday, and then it's just weekly after that.
Yeah.
So I if you're going to do sort of weekly, I think that's kind of cool. I think giving people more than one episode, because you don't want somebody to watch an episode. I think about 3 episodes is really the perfect amount to sort of give people right away, so you can kind of go right into it. Okay, I can watch 1, 2, 3, get invested enough to be ready for it. Because sometimes if you just get one, like I think WandaVision, for example. I mean, WandaVision was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But like sort of going into that first episode, you're kind of like, what is this? And the show didn't even really really like make sense until you got to like episode 3. So I think that's sort of a cool, I think that's a good idea, giving people the 3 episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it has been guessed. Two Rivers Badger says it has been guessed that only pieces from the first 3 episodes were in the trailer. Yeah, I could agree with that, because if you remember, you look at, I think the first episode is Leave Taking. So I think the first episode is Emmons Field, flat out. I think it ends, and we've said this before. We did videos on that. I think the first episode is flat out Trolloc attack. We have to leave. That's the end. That's the end of episode 1. Episode 2, we think is going to be Shatter Logoth.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. We're being chased. We seek shelter there. Podon Fane. We didn't see him in this trailer, but Fane is going to be a big deal, right? So in those first 2 episodes, I'm imagining. So
yeah, it says considering the Waygate shot, brother Buddha here. He says, considering the Waygate shot, according to the metadata from the EW article, Magnificent 7 photo is from episode 6, The Flame of Tar Valon. So yeah,
that's interesting too. And the Waygate is interesting to me because they find it in Camelin normally, right? That's where they originally go. Are we just bypassing Camelin? Is Camelin in this first season?
There's no Elaine cast.
Yeah. I don't think we are. I think we might be passing the city up and exploring more of Tar Valon, and that'll be I think season 2 big location. I don't know.
Yeah, I do too. And we've talked about what are they going to push forward, what are they going to pull back. There's definitely going to be a lot of stuff shifted. Definitely going to be a lot of stuff shifted around. So some people were originally they made it almost seemed like they were going to get to the end of the Great Hunt in season 1. Now it's, I think now that we've seen this, it makes way more. What you and I had said as originally was maybe we get to like the beginning of it, or stuff is just so shifted around that it's so now there's no way seeing what we've seen that what we've seen now that you get to there's no way we're getting the horn of, we could get the horn of Valir, but there's no way the horn of Valir is being blown at the end of season 1. There's just
heck no. There's no way.
If
somebody is sounding that horn,
there's no way. That's
at the end of this.
To me,
season 2.
Season 2 might not only end with the horn of Valir being blown, it might also have Kalendor. You might merge those together, which I think actually would be sort of okay.
Yeah, because I think you said Dragon Reborn, what really happens? It's a lot of
right. And now that we're about to finish book 5, I think you could squeeze 4 and 5 together and even take some stuff from 3 if you had to. So Dragon Reborn, Shadow Rising. I think you could do a lot of the major points of that. But I think I would end the way I would end season 2 would be the White Tower falling at the same time. See, I think some of these events that seem like they happen at a different part.
Right.
I think you maybe make them happen at the same time. Yeah, or unless you're gonna do this 3-episode thing, and in which case you're every season, in which case your 3rd episode is sort of like in Game of Thrones. Remember, in Game of Thrones, it was always like episode 9 was like the episode where like something massive happened.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you had a little bit of fallout into your thing, like Game of Thrones spoilers here, but obviously episode 9 of season 1 is when Ned dies. Yeah. And it's also, I think it's either season 2 or 3 is where the battle at Castle Black. So I think it's supposed to be season 3, where that takes place. Battle of the Blackwater is season 2. So it's like, so you might actually have sort of a big, massive point happen in your episode 3. So people watch 1, 2, and 3 every season. And then it's like, oh man, I cannot wait for next week.
Yeah.
So maybe season 2, episode 3 ends, and maybe you slide something forward, or you slide something back, like Put on Fane stealing the Horn of Valir would be a great way to end. That's still early enough.
For sure. Yeah.
You could tie up some stuff in Eye of the World, and then it's like, okay, now we're on to Hunt.
Yeah, you could even
go get the horn back.
Yeah, and then think about too. I haven't thought twofold. So Put on Fane after Perrin, right? So you talk about when Perrin, his whole arc in the Two Rivers. Maybe that happens a little bit later. Maybe he sticks with the main crew for a while, and then he has to depart for like a season 2 or 3, and then out he goes to kind of do that stuff. But yeah, man,
and another sort of so here we go. Here some other things people are saying here. Yeah, Brave talked about budget constraints and having locations. Yeah, again, it's totally it's television. It's how it sort of works. Because he had said a lot of that. He's like, well, we can't film every location, guys. You got to build a set, you got to move stuff in. And so it says something like do you want all the places from the Eye of the World done poorly, or a few done well? Exactly. 2 and 3 are ripe for a mashup. Yeah, books 2 and 3 definitely, I think, there's a lot in both of those that you could sort of squeeze together. So if season 1 is going to be some of New Spring plus sort of new content, and then I think I guess the question is, where do we get in the Great Hunt that doesn't include, I don't know, because so some people I guess we didn't see in this trailer. I think this can sort of explain a lot. We didn't see Tom Maryland, which Tom Maryland, as we know, will he gets sort of like air quote killed, right? He gets sort of lost early in the books, and you and I had sort of talked that he might not, and he might stay with the group because you have him cast, and you have this sort of other character named Dala cast, but it's spelled different than it is in the books. What we think that was something we might bring forward is that he sort of has this girlfriend, not that he sort of gets her later like we did in the books. Then we didn't see Put on Fane, and we didn't see Loyal.
Yeah, that's pretty big. So I think we're going to see all of them season one. You think that too, but the whole losing Tom Maryland, I started more to think you could lose him at any point in time. Like you can build him up to a character we care about. And remember in book
Min, we
two,
didn't. Yeah, we didn't see Min
yeah, we
either.
didn't see him in. You could find a point in book two or season two, where remember the fate is nailed to the is nailed. Um,
Yes.
yeah, like you could have a situation where they're chasing Pot on Fane in that group, and maybe he does something to help them get away, or you lose him again in Kyrian or something. There's a lot of places where Tom can go away for a bit and then come back, and Matt finds him in Tarvalin,
Yeah,
situations.
Tarvalin and Cainlan, Silver Bells, Narshima here. Tarvalin and Cainlan would be hard to do in the same season set wise, especially with Shattered Logos. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And remember that season one of this show, we don't know because of COVID. Remember, they had to shut down, so they had to film episodes 7 and 8 later. We don't know, and I think they filmed it in Croatia or wherever, or Czech Republic, wherever they were filming. Czech Republic, I think. They had all sorts of restrictions on how many people you could have. So we don't know what that did to the final 2 episodes and what the sort of plan was there. So
right.
and there's
Yeah.
been no leaked photos, because there have been a lot of leaked photos, but none of them have been. We haven't seen Put on Fane loyal in any of those.
Yeah, for sure.
Even people wearing like this, the motion capture stuff. There's like no photos of anybody wearing like motion capture stuff, but maybe you do that all on a green screen, so it's all inside. It's not anywhere where you can capture it.
Yeah, for sure. I think. Well, also, I wanted to bring up real quick white cloaks. We didn't see any white cloaks, did we?
Right.
Did we see
Nope.
any white cloaks? Yeah. Because I actually thought for a split second that individual in white who is a warder, mourning over the loss of an Aes Sedai, I thought for a second that was like Bornhold or something. Like we might see Jeff from Bornhold or somebody.
Right.
But then I looked at the castings, and yeah, so those are gonna be different. But I can't wait to see the white cloaks actually be a piece of this. Calling out dark friends, man, left and right.
Absolutely. So, all right, as we're at about an hour, we just wanted to hop on here, and it's like as is in Germany right now, and so our times, and I'm on the West Coast, so our time zones are totally opposite. So I want to thank everybody here who's Two Rivers Badgers, Brother Buddha, Silver Belgian Ashima, Stephanie Milligan, Ryan, Jonathan R, all you guys for coming in and hanging out here with us over on our YouTube. We did this as a live, so super fun. Ez and I will be back probably this weekend recording. We'll do another. I think we're gonna have to do another just sort of major talk, but what do we think is going to happen, because there were some photos released as well that are separate from the first photo leaks we got, so now we can sort of piece that together with the trailer, with some of the leak stuff we've got. So all of this stuff is awesome, and thanks you guys. A lot of new subscribers today over on YouTube, so we really appreciate that. And for those of you guys who are just here on YouTube, Ez and I do run a full podcast where I'm reading the books for the first time. We're about to finish The Fires of Heaven. And it's certainly non-spoilers because I'm reading it for the first time. So it's a lot of fun. So you can check that out on anywhere on iTunes or any of that stuff. So really appreciate you guys checking us out. So with that, guys, stay tuned. We will be back with more. And remember that the grave